We are finally getting around to finishing up my daughter Rosey's room makeover. If you were here for part 1 of this process in our last video, then you saw we finally gave in and just decided to decorate her room. I have been putting this off for a really long time because she is about to turn 5 in August, and up until this point it's just been like her desires, her interests, they change so very often. I mean, mine do too, so she probably won't ever grow out of that if she continues to be like me as much as she currently is. But with that, I want to kind of go into a little bit of explanation as to one, how we decorate spaces around our home, specifically kids spaces is what we're going to be talking about today. With a low income, it is not something that we can just go out and spend a ton of money on to go with any particular theme or do anything quickly by any means, but there are definitely some mindsets that I think we have taken on that really help us to watch ourselves, to hold ourselves accountable, and also to just keep things in perspective. So I want to share that with you today as I paint around her room a little bit. One of the first things that, and the main things that I think needs to be considered is compromise, and this probably falls under both parenting approaches as well as financial approaches and room decor. So some things as a parent I feel are and need to be absolute decisions from my husband and I. But in things like this, we do want our daughters to be creative and to be given the freedom to do so. We also want them to learn conflict resolution and how to communicate and work within a team, how to think critically, problem solve, just working well with others rather than always being told how to think or what they should want. And it can definitely be overdone when, allowing the children to negotiate on all matters of life. It can become quite a problem because then the authority figure is lost. But I do think that it's very important to be intentional about coming up with scenarios and situations throughout their days, throughout their lives, where they do get to have some input and have some control, if you will, so that they're not just always being told what to do, what to think, and how to do it. I see that sometimes where it's just easier for the parents to just tell their child what to do. Like if a child is having a conflict with friends, they will completely remove that child from the friend group in order to isolate them and just have them go off and color by themselves or do something completely independently rather than trying to actually work through the issue. Now, I completely agree and understand that if those children are just not having a good day and it's constantly argument after argument, yes, separation should probably happen. We'll just start again tomorrow. But at the first sound of any dispute, I am not about to jump in and try to interject myself. I think that makes kids very, very dependent on adults or on other people to solve problems for them. And as someone who has worked with kids for a few years now, I plus have my own kids for several years now, I just am not an expert, but would say, please stop doing that. It makes kids very whiny past an age where they should be whining. They should be able to work through things and have more emotional maturity. Regardless, that is not what this is about. I did, however, have to compromise on my daughter Rosey's room because she wanted all pink. I let her pick out the paint swatch of pink, and that's what I'm using here. But I was having a really hard time. I mean, I was at the point of saying, okay, I will paint all the walls pink and we will change it whenever that time comes. That's what I did when I was young. But then, my husband made a good point. He was like, honestly, we just had our entire house painted white a few years ago when we were renovating, getting ready to move in. And we paid a lot of money for that. So the fact that all of these perfectly good white walls are about to turn pink in her room was kind of hard for him to see and think about. And then it was also kind of a dose of reality once he pointed that out to me, that I was like, oh, that is a little bit painful. So I was trying to figure out how to kind of appease everyone and come up with the best solution all around. And this is what we landed on. It was just making some decorative things around the room in the paint color that she chose and then using that throughout. It also did end up saving me a ton of time and effort as well as money. I got 1 quart of paint for all of this and did not even need that much. Like for the flowers, I was just using craft store acrylic paint for the accents and stuff. So it was way cheaper this way as well. And you know, was she a little bummed that we didn't paint the whole room and color drench everything? Yes. But at the end of the day, we are still the parents. And though we compromise, we have the final say, not out of a need for power or control, but because we are the ones putting in the work and putting in the money, at least right now. So this did allow us to save money both now and later whenever we redecorate again, while still giving her something that is more of what she wants and enjoys in this season of life. Of course, when she's old enough to buy her own paint and hold her own paintbrush, I personally am willing to give her free reign over those walls. Nicholas, however, might not feel the same, but to me, she can go for it. We can close the door if it's awful. The second thing I would say is to avoid specifics and keep things generic. I know this seems super anticlimactic and not exciting at all. I have seen the amazing Airbnb rentals outside of Disney World that are just completely catered to like princesses. They have castle bunk beds and Harry Potter all over the walls and Mickey Mouse or whatever else. And I would absolutely love to take my girls there. But the truth is, after we enjoyed it for about a week, we would leave and then someone else would get to go and enjoy the space, and it would be brand new to them and short-lived for them as well. So for a full-time, long-term room at home, I just don't feel like that is practical or realistic. If we had a ton of money to spend, I would love to go all out in such a way for my girls' rooms every single time that they get excited about something new. But right now, we are not in that place, and I don't know that we ever will be. I don't know that even if we were, we would do that, because it is a ton of work. It is a ton of just like getting hyped up over things, materialistic things. So Rosey wanted a Barbie princess room. That's why she picked out this pink bedspread that she enjoyed, and we are basing a lot around that. I ordered some little Barbie wall prints off Etsy. They were personalized to display her name, but I think I spent like $11 on those. So not a huge deal for later on if and when she does want to change things up. If I was going 100% Barbie princess, the blue shift robe in the corner of her room would have to go, but we don't have another place in our house for it. It serves a purpose here, and I really don't want to get rid of it. So instead, we are finding ways to make it still match the space, while also knowing that in a few years it might fit perfectly with whatever she likes next. Additionally, themed Airbnb rentals are making some kind of profit on the decoration that they're investing in, so power to them, but that's not the case here. She does not pay rent. The last point I would make is that this happens in stages in real life. You know, YouTube and social media in general can be a little deceiving. As a creator, I totally resonate with the fact that it is way more satisfying to see a project in one 15-minute video go from start to finish. But that's really absolutely not reality. And I think we all know that, but we forget it because we get so used to seeing these fully finished, super done up projects all the time. With that being said, the curtains in Rosey's room will happen eventually. She's been sleeping fine so far, and it's been a couple weeks now. I'm actually waiting on some fabric from Hobby Lobby that's on back order, but once it comes in, I want to make some simple little drop down curtains with ties, and these will help to tie in the blue shift robe with all the pink as well. So for now, it's not hurting anyone to wait a little longer, including our bank account. These are just some things that I have taken to heart as I've decorated my home over the last few years, in particular being mostly single income household, and maybe they have been helpful for you to hear or to be reminded of. Either way, I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and I'll catch you next time. Bye guys.